everybody in year 6. I hope you're all well, not too bored, and actually enjoying all the extra time you have at home with everybody. This is my best friend Rusty. Handsome little chap, isn't he? And he loves having me home. He just loves spending time with me. And he really enjoys being read to, believe it or not. I know he can't understand the words, but I think he just likes the sound of my voice and cuddling up with me, which is really, really nice. So I hope you're keeping up with your reading, everybody. It's important. But apart from being important, you're never really bored if you've got a good book. So anyway, I'm going to share Ratburger with you. Obviously, I can't read the whole book now, but I thought we could do a couple of chapters today and then a few more next week and so on. Okay, so settle down, get relaxed and comfortable, and here we go. Okay, let me introduce you to the main characters. First of all, we have Zoe. She's the little girl in the story. And then we have Bert, who's the burger van man. Sheila, who's Zoe's stepmother. Dad, who's Dad. Tina Trots, the local bully. We have Mr. Graves, the headmaster. We have Miss Midge, who's a small teacher. And Raj, who's the large newsagent. We have Ginger Nut, who is a dead hamster, and Armitage, a live rat. They sound an interesting bunch, don't they? Okay, here we go. I'm going to hold the book down because there's not really any pictures. If there's any pictures, I'll hold them up and show you. Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. Prawn cocktailed crisp breath. Yuck. The hamster was dead. On his back, legs in the air, dead. With tears running down her cheeks, Zoe opened the cage. Her hands were shaking and her heart was breaking as she laid Ginger Nut's little furry body down on the warm carpet. She thought she would never smile again. "Sheila!" called Zoe as loudly as she could. Despite her father's repeated pleas, Zoe refused to call her stepmother Mum. She never had. And she vowed to herself that she never would. No one could replace Zoe's mum. Not that her stepmother even tried. "Shut your face, I'm watching TV and stuff in my face," came the woman's gruff voice from the lounge. "It's Ginger Nut," called Zoe. "He's not well." Well, that was an understatement. Zoe had once seen a hospital drama on the telly where a nurse tried to revive a dying old man, so she desperately attempted to give her hamster mouth-to-mouth resuscitation by blowing gently into his open mouth. That didn't work. Neither did connecting the rodent's little heart to an AA battery with a paperclip. It was just too late. The hamster was cold to the touch and he was stiff. "Sheila, please help," shouted the little girl. At first Zoe's tears came silently before she let out a gigantic cry. Finally she heard her stepmother trudge reluctantly down the hall of the little flat, which was situated high up on the 37th floor of a leaning tower block. The woman made huge effort noises when she had to do anything. She was so lazy, she'd order Zoe to pick her nose for her, though of course Zoe always said no. Sheila could even let out a groan when changing the channels with the TV remote. Huffed Sheila as she thundered down the hall. Zoe's stepmother was quite short, but she made up for being as wide as she was tall. She was, in a word, spherical. Soon Zoe could sense the woman standing in the doorway, blocking out the light from the hall like a lunar eclipse. What's more, Zoe could smell the sticky, sweet aroma of prawn cocktail crisps. Her mother loved them. In fact, she boasted that from when she was a toddler, she would refuse to eat anything else and spat any other food back in her mum's face. Zoe thought the crisps stank, and not even of prawns. Of course, the woman's breath absolutely reeked of them too. Ugh! Even now, as she stood in the doorway, Zoe's stepmother was holding a packet of the noxious snack with one hand and feeding her face with the other while she surveyed the scene. As always, she was wearing a long, grubby white t-shirt, black leggings and furry pink slippers. The bits of skin that were exposed were covered in tattoos. Her arms bore the names of all of her ex-husbands, all since crossed out. "Oh dear," the woman spat her mouthful of crisps. Oh dear, how very sad. It's heartbreaking. Poor little thing has snuffed it." She leaned over her little stepdaughter and peered down at the dead hamster. She sprayed the carpet with half-chewed bits of crisps as she spoke. "Dear, oh dear, and all that stuff," she added in a tone that did not sound remotely sad. Just then a large piece of half-chewed crisp sprayed from Sheila's mouth onto the poor thing's fluffy little face. It was a mixture of crisps and spit, so we wiped it away gently as a tear dropped from her eye onto his cold pink nose. "Here, I've got a great idea," said Zoe's stepmother. "I'll just finish these crisps and you can shove the little thing in this bag. I won't touch it myself. I don't want to catch something." Sheila lifted the bag above her mouth and poured the last of the prawn cocktail crisp crumbs down her throat. The woman then offered her stepdaughter the empty bag. "There you go. Bung it in here, quick, before it stinks the old flat out." Zoe almost gasped at the unfairness of what the woman had just said. It was her fat stepmother's prawn cocktail crisp breath that stank it out. Her breath could strip paint off the walls. It could shear the feathers off a bird and make it bald. If the wind changed directions, you would get a nasty waft of her breath in a town 10 miles away. "I am not burying my poor ginger nut in a crisp packet," snapped Zoe. "I don't know why I called for you in the first place. Please, just go." "Oh, for goodness sake, girl," shouted the woman. "I was only trying to help. Ungrateful little wretch." "Well, you're not helping," shouted Zoe without turning around. "Just go away, please." Sheila thundered out of the room and slammed the door so hard that plaster fell from the ceiling. Zoe listened as the woman she refused to call Mum trudged back to the kitchen, no doubt to rip open another family-sized bag of prawn cocktail crisp to fill her face with. The little girl was left alone in her tiny bedroom, cradling her dead hamster. But how had he died? Zoe knew that Ginger Nut was very young, even in hamster years. Could this be a hamster murder? She wondered. But what kind of person would want to murder a defenceless little hamster? Well, before this story's over, you will know. And you will also know there are people capable of doing much, much worse. The most evil man in the world is lurking somewhere in this very book. Read on if you dare. That was the end of chapter 1. I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to read chapter 2 in the next part. So click on to part 2 if you want to hear the next chapter.